I was wrong. It is very, very uncommon to hear those three words from any man, especially any man in the manosphere, because men tend to be very prideful. And hey, I'm no exception. That's one of my flaws. I can be very prideful, and I have a lot of trouble admitting when I'm wrong. So just know that me doing this means that you really need to pay attention to what I'm saying, because I am putting my pride to the side and really devaluing myself and my brand a little bit by making this video. Because in this video, I want to explain why I was wrong about a fundamental aspect of my brand, about a message that I have been preaching and propagating for the entirety of my time on YouTube, especially in this self-improvement space. Now, what is this idea that I'm referring to? This idea is the idea that discipline is the most important prerequisite for success. I was wrong about discipline in general. What I mean by that is I've made many videos throughout the course of my channel's history. Can't even count them on two hands. I've made many videos in which I explicitly stated with 150% certainty and conviction that discipline is more important than motivation if you want to be successful. Now, here's the thing. Here's the caveat to what I'm about to say. Discipline is extremely important. You need to be disciplined to be successful. I wasn't wrong about that. What I was wrong about, however, was the idea that you can be disciplined without being motivated. You see, you need to have both. And something that I've come to realize about not only myself, but every other successful person that I'm aware of is that we're not just disciplined, we're also easily motivated. We are easily motivated people. And I actually talked about this in a recent video. I can't remember the title for the life of me. Something about being successful. But basically, in that video, I explained that all successful people that I know of, that I've read about, that I've watched podcasts and interviews of, etc., are all easily motivated people. And this right here, the ease of motivation, is actually what informs the discipline. So for example, right now I'm filming this video. I would much rather be watching Netflix or watching basketball highlights. The Super Bowl was yesterday, so maybe I'd be watching Super Bowl highlights. Basically, I don't really want to do this right now at this moment in time. But I'm doing it because I'm disciplined. But I'm disciplined because I'm motivated. What am I motivated by? I'm motivated by my why. You see, one of the most common questions that I receive, both publicly and privately, is how do I become consistent? How do I become more disciplined so that I can complete all of the tasks that I need to complete in order to get to where I want to go in life? And the answer is you have to figure out your why, and you have to remember your why and visualize your why, especially when you feel that lack of motivation. You have to be able to drive yourself toward the discipline that you need in order to accomplish your tasks and, by extension, your goals. Now, how do you go about doing that? How do you create that burning desire within yourself so that you can become disciplined? I'll probably make a whole separate video about that in the future, but understand for now that it's all about emotion. You have to be able to stimulate emotion within yourself. So for example, when I was 20 years old, from about March 2020 through around June 2021, so 20 to 21 years old, every time I didn't want to put in the work, I would visualize myself living a lavish lifestyle, an ostentatious lifestyle of excess abundance, material abundance, so that I could make the women, and specifically one of them, feel bad about having rejected me. That was what drove me. Wasn't a very healthy source of fuel, but it worked. It drove me very, very far in life. In fact, that one motivating factor took me to 100,000 subscribers, Because when I didn't want to put the work in the back of my mind, I would tell myself, well, maybe they were right to reject you. Maybe they rejected you because you're just not good enough. You need to level up. And that right there would fuel me. Now, again, that was a very unhealthy source of fuel, and therapy and self-reflection helped me realize that's not where you want to be in life, because, well, even when you become successful, you're still miserable. I learned that the hard way. But if that's what you have to work with, if that's the only source of fuel that you can pull from to create that initial momentum to be disciplined, to take action, then you pull from that source of fuel until you find a more meaningful and fulfilling source of fuel, like I did. Now I'm driven by the vision of who I know I'm capable of becoming and who I'm capable of helping you become. That's what drives me now. But that wasn't always the case. Now, aside from that, there is something else that I was wrong about, also in regards to discipline. And I really need you to pay attention to this, because this right here could be the difference between you being successful, you reaching your goals, and you not reaching your goals, you living a life of mediocrity. In the past, I've stated that there are two kinds of disciplines. The first kind of discipline is the discipline of doing. So that's doing things that you don't want to do. Forcing yourself to do things that you don't want to do. And again, this discipline right here comes from motivation. It comes from you being an easily motivated person, a self-driven person, constantly exposing yourself to aspects of the life that you want to live. You going to the dealership to see the car that you're working for. You taking a tour of the apartment that you want to live in, that you will live in, by putting in the work. That's the discipline of doing. That's me filming this video when I'd rather be watching Netflix or Super Bowl highlights. Then there's the discipline of not doing. That's the second kind of discipline. That is you quitting pornography. That's you deleting social media. That's you not eating junk food. That's you eliminating bad habits that create friction, which ultimately make it more difficult for you to get to where you want to go in life. That's you taking off the weighted vest so that you can move with a lot more freedom and grace along your path. Where I went wrong was I led you to believe that those two types of disciplines are of equal importance. That is not the case. I need you to look me in the eye right now. Okay, listen to what I'm saying. The discipline of doing is the 20% that will yield 80% of the results in your life. What this means is that you can watch pornography, you can scroll on social media, TikTok, doom scroll, hours a day. You can eat junk food. You can smoke cigarettes, smoke weed. You can drink alcohol. You can do all of these things and still be successful as long as you are doing the work. As long as you are putting in the work that you need to put in. If you're doing the doing that needs to be done, you will be successful. The discipline of not doing speeds up that process. That's all it does. The reason why I'm saying this is because I believe that I've contributed to this false notion in many young men's minds that you can simply stop watching pornography and you'll become successful just from doing that. Or you can delete social media and you'll become successful from doing that. That is not the case. All that does, all eliminating those bad habits does for you, is it makes it easier for you to do the work, to do the doing that needs to be done, to enact the discipline of doing. And when you have that discipline, so you're doing the work that you need to do, and you're not creating friction or inner resistance or guilt by indulging in these bad habits and ruining your image of yourself, you get to where you want to go a lot faster. Now, the reason why I always viewed them as being of equal importance, so it wasn't that I was just lying to you. I genuinely believed for a while myself that they were of equal importance. The reason why I believed that to be the case for so many years was because in my case, in my particular case, it was true that they were of equal importance. Because As somebody who made a lot of videos about deleting social media and doing nofap and eliminating those bad habits, in order for me to have the credibility to speak on those things the way that I did and still do to this day, I had to be an example of the principles that I preached. I had to practice what I preached in my own life. That's why me doing nofap was so important, and that's what made it so easy for me at that time, was that I had to do it. How was I going to make a nofap 90-day benefits video if I couldn't get to 90 days? In that sense, nofap became exceedingly easy. Same with deleting social media. I was only able to enact that form of discipline because it was required of me to do the discipline of doing. So for me, they went hand in hand. If you are looking to be a software engineer, you don't need to delete social media to do that. You don't need to do nofap or semen retention to do that. Doing that will speed up your progress, but you don't need to do it.